Oye, Trina Christine Mason here. Thank you so much for subscribing and be a part of my journey. I have made some notes and some things I really wanted to go over. I didn't feel like I could really do this in a live segment because I was kind of like concerned about being interrupted, and frankly even now there's still a risk because I'm not in airplane mode type thing. It took me forever to get the camera set up this way. I definitely wanted to kind of show off some feng shui of some things that I have going on here. So yes, like this chair is awesome. So I've been like trying to get used to the whole first experience of that. So number one on the top of the list is how I'd like to create some type of structure. Okay, so for those of you who are fans only, okay, on Tuesdays the 99 account will be updated, and then on Thursdays I'm planning on doing the $20 account. I have so much computer work I have to do. I've kind of been procrastinating it for a long time. My George scarf, the fur, that purse. I only wear my fur alive. George, what doing? Might want to go in the window. Yep. Okay, so frankly, I've been procrastinating all of the computer work in the world. I'm kind of not really a fan of my computer. I'm tempted to just grab it and show you like what I've been dealing with, if I could. You dang George. What doing? Okay, so this is my old Lappy. It is so old and pretty busted. I'm so tired of cat fights, y'all. So tired. I'm like, don't make me. Don't make me. Ugh. Tired of breaking out cat fights. So the next part is kind of like intense to get into, and it has a connection to kind of the things that I've been talking about in the videos. Mainly what's up now. I have about 33 or 34 videos on here that need to go up, and this is the last message over and out while we're still here, okay? So the next part is kind of hard to get into, okay? It's about consent. And why all this information about being hidden in plain sight is important for us to be aware that they're watching us, to be aware that they're reading the iridology through here, the fact that there's heat sensors on here which is reading our every thought. You can see the 60 minutes or 60 seconds, whatever that TV show is called, Mind Reading. It's on YouTube right now. You can see the video, how it highlights the brain in everyone's hemispheres in their brains, how it all looks the same, okay? And there's also ways of projecting that light and showing it back at us. There's all these studies done by HAARP and all these other things that I could totally share with you as well if interested. So like something that really came to vision was exactly like I was asking. I was like, well, how come we can suddenly know about adrenochrome and all these blood rituals and all these different things that are going on, and that they're watching us, and the whole part of the ritual is that it's part of our consent, that we keep moving ahead, knowing what they're doing, knowing about the chemtrails, knowing about all the chemicals in the food. In case you didn't catch that part too, the company Bayer, they are originally a dye company, and they also created the chemicals for, you know, exterminating the Jewish population by creating the drug called Zyklon B, Zyklon B, okay? And then Monsanto patented all the seeds and made it illegal for people to basically, you know, grow food and collect rainwater and things like this, okay? And now Bayer purchased Monsanto, and now they have access to all of our foods and all those Blue 6, Red 5, all of those chemicals that are making the children go crazy, haywire, okay? They're controlling the people through the chemicals. There's videos that you can see from Aldous Huxley from like 1952, where he predicts that his best friend George Orwell is correct, and that we can control the population through chemicals and through artificial intelligence. And not just that, though, make us want it and make it be our idea that we have it, kind of like the RFIDs that are suddenly inside all of our driver's licenses, passports, credit cards, you know, those little chips. That's the RFID. Okay, consent is most important, so keep that in mind. That's part of the process. The next part I have on here is something that I learned about alcohol. So I have a lot of love and compassion, and I have chosen to use my life here on this earth to try to help people and to heal the body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, the mental body, right? All that good stuff. So I was assisting someone who was having a problem with alcohol, and I'll tell the truth, in the past that I couldn't deal with it from other people that I've loved and cared about, and I just walked away because I literally did not know how to process it. And then this time I faced it fearlessly, you could say, and I did some homework. And well, I learned that alcohol is ethanol, and ethanol is ether. Ether is a chemical they used to pour on rags and huff and sniff them. Just like repetitively inhale ether. And then I also found out that alcohol is the only drug or chemical that can kill you if you don't have it, if you have too much of it inside your system instead of your oxygen in your blood, which comes from you breathing, which also we're not breathing properly here, especially in America. We're not trained properly in breath. We have a lot of shallow breathing, a lot of shallow people, a lot of shallow thinking mentality. You know, it's time to really change our consciousness and our awareness and shifting to higher things and recognizing what's really going on as a collective. One thing that comes to mind is definitely about aluminum. Aluminum is one of the main chemical components that's being sprayed in the air, and the patent states that it's to keep the sun's rays out of the hemisphere, you could say, and aluminum causes Alzheimer's. And if you think about it, almost all of our food packaging comes in aluminum. If you pay attention to the old Egyptian times, they used to always drink from gold and silver and copper vessels, and there's a lot of medicinal purposes from eating from these types of utensils. Okay, my next thing on the list is about how we have to give people room to grow. So everyone has their own process and their own divinity, so a lot of people are going to reject this video and they do not want to see this. Okay, knowledge is power. Okay, that's rule number one, right? And with great power comes great responsibility, and that's going to come up later here on this list now that it's funny that I'm channeling all that. Okay, so the next part is about emotional reinforcement and just how important like that is, to show compassion and some type of attachment and see the you inside of them. Someone once taught me that's how you really love people. I wonder if that's on here. I'm not seeing that on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and channel that to you, okay? So I recently met this person who said this thing to me, and he taught me how the way that I love you is that I respect you. The way that I love and respect you is by witnessing the me inside of you. And the way that I make you love you is I have to make you see you through my eyes. So be patient, be kind, and show compassion, especially when you see a lot of anger and violence and whatever horrible things you see. Just have some compassion and understand that you know, it took a lot of things to make that occur. And just take a step back. Don't ignore it, because that doesn't change the collective. Okay? Another thing on the list that came up is in a recent session doing cranial sacral healing work. On my personal journey, I had an empathetic vision, if you will, for the dark side, okay? I've come to accept the terms that Star Wars is real, and yes, there is a dark force and a light force. That doesn't make it good or bad, Okay, it's more so kind of like how there are fish that feed upon the toxic gases at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, it doesn't make them horrible creatures. It's just some things feed off of that. Some things feed off the energy of fear and control and things like that, okay? I had some empathy for the dark side. Call me a Mason, okay? And yeah, like this previous video, I'm not free, right? So I thought about the empathy of the souls that are like millions years old, and how it must feel tiring, and so much more tiring, to have to keep continuing existence. And I can understand why they would want to blacken the sun and just kill everything and just let it all turn to ash, so they would only hope, you know, to end the cycle and the madness, history. They wanted to change things and change time, and they did. They played with time. They became invisible. Einstein didn't want to be a part of that project. I believe that's called the Philadelphia experiment. And Nikola Tesla messed up their machine. And then another doctor came in, Edward Norton. I mean, I have no idea, okay? I'm at the tip of the iceberg myself. That's not even on here. I'm trying to catch you guys up. I need to talk about there needs to be equal energetic exchange. And now, yes, cash currency is kind of turned into that way. So therefore, straight up, if you honor and respect what I'm doing right now, please pay it forward and send me a payment, okay? In any way, shape, or form that you choose, okay? Whatever resonates. Follow your heart. Do what's right. And that's not just for me. It's for everyone. Appreciate people's art. Like, even if it's a spoken word, I mean, there's so many different levels that you could show gratitude, and just the issue is that some people aren't even showing gratitude for themselves in their own personal existence, and there's all kinds of just horrible heartache that is just going excessively suppressed, that, you know, if you don't bring conscious awareness to it, how can you ever expect a change if you do not accept? Okay, it's kind of the first step. Acknowledging means to act on knowledge. So in order to fight something, you have to be well versed. So that's coming up too. I'm going to have to be a lot more educated in my material in order for me to deliver the messages more appropriately and more calm and reserved, so you'll actually listen instead of being in such a autistic, very excited, energetic, you know, Trina Christine Mason way. So, excuse me in my human form. Oh, George. George lost his collar again. From fighting, I'm assuming. Come here. I need that diatomaceous earth that's on my wish list to help eliminate the parasites. So everyone, you have parasites, especially if you have pets. Love them, though, parasites, man. And all the food is just destroyed. It's a lot of responsibility to lead people. That's the next thing. It's a lot, so you can't like shift blame to everyone else, because we're all in it the same. Every time you're complaining that somebody should do this, somebody should do that, you are somebody. Isn't that who you always wanted to be? It's time to take a stand and to make a change. The next one says, no one's solid anymore. Think about it. People don't mean what they say. They're so waffly. Everybody's like wasted. Everyone's like literally wasted mentality. The fluoridation in the water. Oh my God. Think about it. If I'm fluoridating the water and I want you to think that it's healthy, aren't I going to spend millions and millions of dollars on like propaganda and imagery, scare tactics? Okay, let's back to basics. Edward Bernays, my absolute favorite, Sigmund Freud's brother-in-law. Edward Bernays. He wrote a book called Propaganda. That's why that word is so hush-hush. Because the book talks about 3 ways of controlling the masses. It's through 3 tactics: sex, fear, and the power of suggestion. Hey, buy this or you will die. Will you buy this? All perfect ways that are all used against us, so keep that in mind, and know that there's colors and sensory things that are used as the power of manipulation. Let's look at McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. All of those colors are psychologically made to make you hungry. There's all these chemicals that are being put inside the food that's basically making people crazy, aggressive, and just like literally destroying the organs. Just think about what that ethanol, that ether is doing to the inside organs. It's destroying people. And there's a lot of things that are happening on an ancestral level, okay? There's these studies that were done with rats, where their mama rats were electrocuted whenever they smelled the cherries. And then when the babies were born, they reacted the exact same from that stimuli. So the trauma is passed down for generations. That's why people are always like, my people. There's a truth in that, a resonance. We need to all understand we all bleed the same. Okay? What else? Man, I did a blood pressure checking thing on the phone, and it hurt my finger, and it really, really kind of freaked me out where this AI and this technocracy and where all these things are going, this transhumanism. I understand there's a sense of urgency, so I'm trying to get everyone to wake up and to tap into what I learned about. It's called QHHT, okay? Dolores Cannon. I mean, the rabbit hole is so deep. It's also connected to the Akashic Records. I mean, I struggle to give language to it, I'll be honest. If I could afford to do this school, I would. Okay, I need, and like, honestly, with autism, it makes it hard to like learn and to receive information, especially as I'm processing all this stuff and I'm going through my own transformation from my emotional body and all of the experiences I've had in this life and this experience. Okay, the Akashic Records and QHHT are something that excessively changed my life. I was such an unhappy person. I did not want to be here. I did not understand why I was here. Now I am connected to Source more than ever, and I know more about alien races and like past life experiences and all these like things that just a lot of you just really wouldn't believe me about. So, moving on. I made a playlist on YouTube. It's called Trina's Spiritual Journey. I've been putting as many of these things as I can, like this aspect, this collection, on there for you to access while, you know, CERN, C-E-R-N, is allowing us to have connection. There's also all this information with Star of David and Saturn and Solomon. There's all these wild things that I'm processing, and I apologize that I don't really have enough information enough to teach it so much yet. So I'm just using photograph stimuli I'm showing you on Twitter and Instagram and wherever I possibly can right now. Yeah, it's funny that's what's next on the thing. There's a lot of people, you could say, that aren't all there, not all there. Not all there is on the list. I apologize for saying that, though it's true. It's because you've been drinking this horrible water. You need to be drinking distilled water. That's why there's all this propaganda against it, okay? Flowers are very healing. I love flowers and Bach, B-A-C-H. There's a lot of studies on that. I do attempt to buy everything organic, although it's true with the chemical fallout, like it's almost impossible. And I feel like we've been taught that the food is wrong. I do believe in Dr. Sebi, S-E-B-I, his way of studies about eating. I've been talking about this for months, okay? I have a personal goal, and it's really cheesy, and it's something in the material world that, like, I obsess about as, like, an OCD or autistic or whatever you want to call me, okay? I really, 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 really would desire a custom license plate. So I'm asking or putting it out to the universe to anyone that would totally support me getting a custom cheesy license plate for my first car that I've ever had during the first like year that I've ever been driving. Maybe 2 years. I'm like, I gotta check my license for my anniversary about that, by the way. Though yes, I totally have desire to get the custom plate, and like I had to obviously put out there the financial support thing, although I feel like I totally put that out there already ahead. I mean, it's uncomfortable having to mention that, hey, look, there's this like weapon that's called money and it's used against us. It's installed into our root chakra and making us kill each other for this when there's plenty to go around, and there's no reason to be a dragon sitting on gold anymore, okay? And just like there's no need in worshiping material experiences either, because exactly it all just wilts away. It's all carbon. We are all the same. We have ATCG, the same exact components in the plants, the rocks. We are all soul, life form, whatever you choose to call us, stardust. I'm like, what else is on here? I feel like I'm covering like just about everything. The word cringy is on here. Kind of want to cover that. I mean, like, there's a lot of that type of energy going on that's like, oh, it's abrasive. Like, why are you putting yourself through those experiences? Every day you pay the price to live your life, and the price that you are paying is how are you spending? How are you spending your time? Are you sad? Are you miserable? Are you getting into car accidents? Are you drinking all the time? What are you doing with your life? What are you choosing? Are you like hurting yourself while loving other people? What are you doing? Just recognize that at any moment you could drop dead, and it's up to you how you choose to spend your life. And exactly, if you're allowing this job to pay you $50 an hour or whatever for someone to talk down to you, or even less than that, why are you doing that with your life? You're worth so much more than that. You do not have to do that. You think that inside your mind, you become a slave or a prisoner to your own thoughts. That is the ego. I strongly push the movie Revolver. You have to recognize your own ego. Ego is I, me, 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 me. Okay? Sound healing. I gotta push the agenda of sound healing as long as they'll let me go. What else do we have here? I have Archangel Metatron in here. I'm like kind of like fighting that. Okay. I've talked about it before. I was shown recently a picture of a rainbow, and on the left side was the triangle crystal. It looked like a crystal, and then on the other side was a black triangle representing the opposite, the abyss. And then I was shown that exactly which way are you looking at things? Are you looking at the light through that dark side or through that side? Or what's your perception? Life is 10% living and 90% perception. Life is a comedy to those who think, and a comedy life is a comedy to those who think, and a tragedy to those who feel. I really love that line too. I'm not sure who did that. I just know it's quoted from someone. Someone else said that to me, and it changed my world. I'm beating around the bush, though. Anyway, I like to get to Archangel Metatron. All right, I'll be honest. I like to... let's go to square number one. I was taught to avoid all spiritual entities. Okay, all. And I was encouraged to go straight to source. Always. However, I have, in my lifetime, listened to some YouTubes of channeling information, and I have come across Archangel Metatron, and only by listening did I know and recognize his voice. So, I'm very in touch with my intuition. I'm actually what's called clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant. I'm an empath. I can do remote viewing, quantum jumping, astral projection, Akashic Records, ASMR. I mean, I can juggle. I can do a multitude of things. I don't feel comfortable with that sometimes though, and I rejected a lot of my own being, and rejected a lot of myself and my creation, and like I compromised. I don't even know where to begin. Like I compromised my well-being. I was very unhappy. I wanted to die. It's true, until exactly like I woke up. And like I feel like everything I needed I've had all along, and it just took some time for me to get realigned and to accept myself and to face my truth instead of like denying what was going on, or like rejecting the process. Exactly, that's also something that comes up so many times. We go through life and we just keep going and going and going and going and going, and like we go through breakups and we jump through relationship to the relationship, and just we never actually process what happened, or like our abuse or mental. You know, a lot of people think domestic violence is only physical abuse. That's not true. Domestic violence also has another form of emotional, psychological. There's also sociopaths who enjoy changing the social situations, the kind of people that will like tell you to come over really quick and change your plans, tell you that they need you, and then when you get outside they'll make you wait for like half hour. You know, people like that. Like, you gotta understand, but that is like, you can't also point the finger, okay, because also you gotta understand the source. There's so many different circumstances. Our time is so limited. I encourage you to enjoy every single moment. Today is 11/11/11. If you add 2018 and it makes an 11, you have to study numerology. There's hidden numbers and animals and just spiritual meanings, and you got to look into your dreams, and there's all kinds of different aspects that you're just not taking seriously. The TV show or YouTube show Spirit Science also is really, really awesome here. You gotta appreciate YouTube for their creation, man. I mean, yeah, it's being used against us, I'm sure, you know, for everyone just are willing to air their dirty laundry, or however you choose to see what the YouTubers are doing here in this world. I do want to teach you guys next a lot about crystals. This is blue calcite. It's one of my favorites. It's very emotionally healing, comforting. It's very good for the throat and speaking our truth. I usually love to keep crystals in the windows as well. Like, I have so many rocks. I thought about doing like ASMR crystal like, yeah, exactly, flower transfusion videos. I am attempting to create some more things, although again, like, I'm going to have to see a lot more equal energetic exchange, if you know what I mean, on all different levels, like just any sense of gratitude, or even to see you invest in yourself and make changes. I mean, it's so complicated. It is. And one of my biggest rants and raves is definitely how people don't resonate, resonance. Like, you need, like, so many different things. Like, you need to change your frequency. Like, music has changed. In, like, 1972, it was all major keys. Like, all happy, uplifting sounds. And now it's all minor, all, like, negative, moodiness, discord. Okay? There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. There's a thing called democide. It's where the government kills its own people. There's so many stories where they have taken the weapons away from the people and used them against the people. And not just that, where the people were saying, please take our weapons, please. We're not safe. We have no control. See, we are all a piece of the divinity. Every person is their own divine color, and everyone needs to paint their unique color. And everyone is welcome to mirror those shades and to, like, show their own version of that color and be themselves and be like, oh, I can express myself that way. That's an option. So it's important for us to be ourselves and just be. Stop judging everything. Just be. There is no good, bad, wrong, or evil. I mean, it's very complicated. Everyone has their own divine will. You have to create responsibility, or, like, create responsibly. You know, like I said before, like, I did a reading for a child, and the child pointed out, oh, I always thought that God ripped off a piece of its flesh, and that was me. In some aspects, I find that to be true, and I really like how she was so blunt and expressive in her ways of what that is. So if we are God and made in I am's image, and I am that I am, then it is important for me and everybody to create responsibility. Create responsibly, you know? Like, you can create hell on earth. You can destroy these and smash and bang and break and you know, recreate traumatic experiences, or you can make yourself really unhappy, or you can, you know, create something that makes you feel good about yourself. You can invest in yourself. I used to have such a hard time about spending money on myself. Like, back in the day, I never would have bought myself flowers, never. Now, every once in a while, like, yes, I'll drop like 20, 30 bucks on flowers. I've done it. It's pretty bad. It's just like kind of like when I'm not feeling so good. I'll be honest though, it just drastically just changed the mood, and there's a reason why I'm drawn to certain things. And I've learned that if I change the water every single day, that the plants will live longer because they need the oxygen that's in the water. I like to take care of them. I've done some studies exactly where the water structure change when you, like, send it love, and same thing when you talk to the flowers and the plants, because they're all souls. It's the same thing with the crystals, and that's why your voice is so important. Everyone has their own tone. You got to check out the Trina's Spiritual Journey videos. I totally do have to run off to work because, like, right now the museum still exists, and I'm here in Old St. Augustine, where I've always wanted to be. And I can barely talk, and I'm just, like, feeling so grateful, so I thought I'd spend, like, nearly 30 minutes, you know, giving you all my time and attention right now, because I've had all these things on my mind and all these things I wanted to share with you, and there's so many more things, and I may repeat these things, like, several times. That's totally an autism thing, like, I can feel you guys asking questions, like, about vaccines and stuff like that. That's coming. That's coming. I encourage you to keep asking questions, because when you ask questions, let me write it down. Bonk ahead. Bonk ahead. I totally need to use the restroom too. So I want to teach you about spelling and how much it's magic, okay? It's being used against us. So quest ions. Pass ions. Alright, so these are a little word game that I like to play. Look, when we have questions, we quest for ions. When we have passion, we pass ions. And when we imagine, I'm a genie. Be careful what you think and what you're creating. You're spelling, you're chanting and enchanting, abracadabra, right? Vedikavedra, all that. Adrenochrome. Gosh, I could write down a million different things for you. Monsters Inc., MK Ultra. The rabbit hole is so deep. I'm not sure what else to do, okay? I just wanted to like vocalize these things and just raise some awareness and let you know that I love you and I'm in it with you, and I hope you can help and be yourself, please. If you could. That'd be great. Best forever. I love these shoes. I gotta say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I always wanted these, and then Gypsy Dharma totally did a half off sale, and I was like very fortunate. And I'll admit, I love the smell of leather. Leather makes me so happy. I don't know, it's just like, I'm like very Neanderthal, and I also, by the way, there's a linkage between autism and Neanderthal. There's something like that, and they're also making us all go into the reptoid brain, which is all like, sex, primal, create, and there's all these hertz and frequencies that are being permitted. Yes, 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 yes. Sometimes I fantasize like, oh, one day I'll have a driver and I won't have to do anything and someone can just carry me to the car or to the bathroom, and that there's flowers in every room, and that exactly I'm not the one changing the water every single day. Oh, listen to the cat. Some people don't want you to have what you want. Why is that? Why won't you just let someone have what they choose? Why do you have to judge what they choose? Let them have it. Let them be them. What? Jealousy, you can do the same thing. You tell yourself you can't. That's the reason why you don't have. You haven't chosen it. You have to choose it. There's only 8 things you're supposed to say after I. Speaking of which, that boils down to like a book. Speaking of which, like also look, by the way, like these are all like my books. Oh man, I'm starving. Like I have this. I love chocolate. I can't even lie. Like it's so bad how much I love sugar and chocolate. Oh, but this is so bomb. There's definitely more than 7 ingredients, which means it's probably not that great. I've really got to skedaddle. I'm already late enough as is. I mean, not really, just the museum opens at 2, so it's more best to be there when they open, you know? Frankly, I need my own shop. Listen to me. Yeah, I heard myself. What I'm saying, though, is I will have my own shop. I kind of have my own shop now, outside of their shop. I'm just still butthurt that exactly, like, I'm going to have to find somewhere else to keep doing my intuitive readings. And everyone's telling me to do them online. But it's like, no one wants to send money online. And there's so much drama. I'm tired of, like, selling myself. Like, I shouldn't have to explain myself to you. Like, believe me and trust in me, and I promise I will do no harm. I mean, I'll admit I have done harm in the past. That doesn't mean that I am perfect. I really need to get out of here. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm such a nerd. Let me show you what else we got going on. Take you out of this for a minute. Nom, 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 nom. All right.